Hey guys, and welcome back to Castle Crush, and today we are going to be playing here with an all epic cards deck, and we'll be playing in ranked matches again here today, and try a bit of a different challenge in that aspect. So we'll be seeing if we can gain some trophies with this, and I do need to gain some trophies. I keep getting reset at the end of the seasons, so I have to get back in here and gain them back again. And here's the deck we're going to be playing with. As you can see, just kind of it's kind of like just sort of a balanced deck with Spectre, I guess. And then, of course, the standard bearer is my sort of secret card in this deck, and probably the card that's going to potentially make the difference. And I do think the Spectre aspect is probably going to work pretty well, but I think that the standard bearer is going to be a very key card, especially if my opponent has, you know, anything out of the ordinary. And like all Spectre decks, I'm going to have to make sure I can get the Spectres, you know, out there before the skeletons die. That's always kind of a challenge. So here we go with it. And this opponent, very tricky, already had a very good stack set up, and I'm just like, well, I'm going to take control of the top two lanes and try to just see what we can do. So I swap lanes, and then they throw it back, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try and cause some chaos here with some more skeletons and get the Spectre out there. And now this is better because I'm starting to get more mana now, and I get in there and start working on their stacks. I probably could have gone straight for the castle. I think I was trying to do a little too much here, but I decided to just kind of go back in there, and they don't really stop the top lane for whatever reason. They just let it do a bunch of damage, and at this point, really all I need is a fire elemental to finish off this match. And I don't get that yet, but I realize I have to block the bottom lane. I could have lost right here if I hadn't blocked very effectively. And then the boneyard doing some more damage. So close. Very intense, because they could have won by now in the bottom lane if I hadn't blocked it. And now things are looking bleak down there. I really need like a fire elemental or something. And there it is, the fire elemental, right as they were just about to beat me. And very, very clutch fire elemental draw. If I didn't get that fire elemental, I basically would have lost. So pretty crazy. So I do like to start with the boneyard. I mean, this match here, though, I was getting super overwhelmed. I got lucky, though, that most of these skeletons survived at first. Gave me a chance to actually clear the top lane. But they're doing so much damage here, I have to get rid of that pirate. The Fan Dancer doesn't do quite as much damage as the pirate, I don't think, so I realized was what it was. And I mean, just super, super close, but I have them on the ropes here, and really if I could just throw down that fire elemental, I don't know if I realized, but it ends up going for a win for me anyways. Pretty close one again. And anytime you see the Reaper going right at your castle like that, that is definitely not a good feeling. But I knew I could get the demon probably on this still. I don't know why I went for the Spectre rather than taking out the Reaper first. But eventually I do take out the Reaper. And enough stuff still out there to work with. They do have the middle lane, but, you know, Dark Angel, the reason why it's one of the worst legendaries is because it's slow and it's very easy to just block and distract. So it's definitely not the most critical legendary to get rid of. You do definitely have to keep an eye on it, but, you know, like in that last match, I was not very concerned about it. Here I decide to just make a little play and try to run at their castle. And then nice move right there with the fire elemental. Really took out some of their stuff. Then I can go for the shaman, but that was not even needed. And I really liked where this deck was going. I thought it would be harder to play than this, but I think because my trophies were kind of lower, you know, ended up not being that tough. And again, Boneyard, I mean, it can put a lot of pressure on opponents. That was just straight up unlucky. And this was looking bad for me, but I decided I'm just going to go with the Boneyard since that's my play right there, and then I can play the Spectre. Because without the skeletons, especially the Boneyard, the Spectre is very hard to play. So I try and take advantage of it whenever I have skeletons out there, for sure. In this match, I realized I have to use the fire elemental defensively. I didn't have to, but I realized I could just clean that mess up. And then the standard bearer, they're never expecting it for some reason. They definitely panicked right there. And then me getting that back was just like, yeah, gonna be tough for them to recover. Plus the Boneyard, way too much pressure on their castle. Oh, they get a Boneyard too, but fire elemental seals the deal. Solid plays. And we get promoted back to Grandmaster League. Been here a bunch of times, but, you know, always nice to push some trophies. I know people like it when I push trophies. It just gets repetitive season after season to push to the same leagues. And, yeah, that was unfortunate right there. I couldn't get the Spectre out in time. Definitely put me in a difficult situation at the start of this match. Very bad looking situation here for me. But luckily I got the Jester. And my opponent didn't really capitalize on that as well as you might have thought they would have. I mean, I really felt like they could have pulled out all sorts of cards there, but they didn't really capitalize on it. They kind of gave me a chance to get control here again. I decided to go for the bottom two lanes just to make sure I could have control of things again. And now I'm back in control, really, because they didn't capitalize very well on their good Boneyard play. And that was all I needed. 2 Spectres down, and that's pretty much game over. Unless they have a strong endgame card they're about to play, like the Dragon or something. But no, seeing as they had the Unchained Demon out there, they couldn't really play much else while it was sitting there. So that is sometimes a moment. There's the Dragon finally, but it was too late. I managed to get through that match before they could really do anything with it. So now let's open some chests up. And we got a Spectre out of that one. Got a bunch of chests to open. Let's see if we can get anything good out of any of them. At least I'm getting some gold out of them. Stacking up on some cards to donate. It's still kind of interesting to think about that you can't donate epic cards ever, because I know Clash Royale, I think, had the ability to donate epic cards on occasion, but Castle Crush never has. So we do get a Skull King here too. So I got 2 legendary epic cards out of those chests, and of course a decent amount of gold as well. So let's give this deck another run through here. I do like to start pretty much with either the Boneyard or the Jester, and occasionally the Demon, depends on what my opponent plays, if anything, before I start. So the Jester I do definitely like having as a counter to a skeleton push. It can also work well against the Reaper if it doesn't have protection. And right here, I was just trying to wait and see what my opponent was going to do, and didn't make any sense to consolidate into one lane if they weren't really countering. And I can see I have a damage advantage here, so it doesn't really make that much sense for me to do anything else. I could have gone with a boneyard because I think that would have more decisively ended it, but this ended up working too because they didn't have the cards to quite finish me. And there it is. So I thought that was a pretty fun deck there in Epic Cards only ranked challenge. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments section below, and what other types of content I should create. Maybe subscribe if you're new to my channel for more mobile gaming content. And thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.